Rebecca?
You don't like my singing? Fuck you. This is my video, okay? Linda from the Evil Dead franchise is not your typical not quite final girl. By definition, a not quite final girl doesn't make it to the end of her movie. Linda, however, has been in 4 installments of the Evil Dead franchise. But what makes her different is that most of the time, she's dead. Or more specifically, she's a Deadite. So, one other challenging thing about Linda is that 4 different actresses have played her. So, as I compiled the information for her actresses, it was more like a full-blown high school research paper. Linda has been portrayed by 4 different actresses throughout the film and TV versions of the Evil Dead franchise. She was first played by Betsy Baker in the 1981 original. Like her character, Betsy attended Michigan State University, earning a degree in theater and classical voice. After The Evil Dead, Betsy took a lengthy break from acting, returning to the screen in 2006. Since then, she's been working consistently, most recently appearing in 4 installments of the HBO miniseries Sharp Objects with Amy Adams. She also reprised the role of Linda in a 2017 fan promo for Ash vs. the Evil Dead called Aunt Linda's Bake Off. Linda came back in Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn, but was played this time by Denise Bixler in 1987. She was primarily a model who did a minor amount of acting. She was actually married to actor Steve Guttenberg from 1988 to 1992, and as of 2003 has been living in Switzerland. In 1992, Linda was played very briefly in the Army of Darkness recap scene by veteran actress Bridget Fonda. She was reportedly a huge fan of Evil Dead 2 and a personal friend of Sam Raimi's. In the days when she was a prolific actress, I was told often that I looked like Bridget Fonda and never saw it. After Googling pictures of her from that point in time, I retract my stance. Most recently, Rebecca Farrell showed up in the first season of Ash vs. Evil Dead as Linda's head in the vice in 2015. This was Rebecca's first and only notable acting role. So Linda and 4 friends from Michigan State University, including her boyfriend Ash, are traveling to a cabin for a remote getaway. Scotty, we find out, has made the reservations, but he thinks the cabin might be a little run down and hasn't seen the place. So the kids are a little leery of this. Companies can spin things however they want. So had they seen a commercial or a promotional video for the cabin, I think they probably still would have stayed there. Thank you for choosing to stay with us. After you spend time in the Necronomic Comfort Cabin, you will feel like a totally different person. This is a great place to bring friends for an intimate dinner party, or to share some quiet time with that special someone. You'll find the cabin itself has incredible character. The cabin offers amenities such as indoor showers, soothing sounds for your listening pleasure, a 16mm film projector, and a whimsical decor that almost seems to interact with you. Be sure to venture down to the rustic cellar to explore our vast collection of antiquities. Also, the local fine arts scene is top-notch if you decide to venture outside the cabin. Again, we hope your stay in the Necronomic Comfort Cabin will be one that you remember forever. So as they're driving, we find out this cabin is in the mountains of Tennessee. Scotty said, but he got one hell of a deal, which again makes me ponder, how good of a deal could this be to drive all the way from Michigan? Okay, kids, you already know I'm a dork because I know a lot about horror movies, and I collect Barbies. But here's one more thing. I have a bachelor's degree in theoretical mathematics and a master's degree in instructional technology, and oftentimes crippling OCD, so I loves me a good math problem. So, I pondered this time of watching The Evil Dead, how cheap can this cabin really be to justify the distance that they drive? So, these kids go to school in Michigan State, which is in East Lansing, Michigan. This cabin is in Morristown, Tennessee. According to Google Maps, right now, the driving distance is 570 miles. Give or take a few miles, considering we don't know how far in or out of town the kids live or how far in or out of town the cabin is. Now, we all know this car is the classic, but it is actually a 1973 Delta 88 Oldsmobile. And the approximate miles per gallon that this car would get is 11.2 miles. Now, assuming that they thought they were going back home, the round trip would be 1,140 miles. Now, at this point in time, this is pre-oil crisis, and so the average price of gas in 1979 was 86 cents per gallon. Now, if we just put this all together, we can figure out how much it would have cost them in gas to drive. So we just take the miles, 1,140, we divide it by 11.2 miles per gallon. And then we multiply that by the amount that it costs per gallon of gas. That's 86 cents. And what do you know, kids? It's approximately $88 in a Delta 88. I think I'm onto something. Maybe it's time that I get that PhD in horror studies I keep talking about. Good-natured Linda isn't bothered by these crappy accommodations.
This place is really shitty.
And she still manages to have fun unloading luggage because she's there with her beloved Ash and her great friends. Within, I would say, an hour or two of being in this cabin, things have moved rhythmically for a prolonged amount of time and then stopped suddenly. The cellar door flung open during dinner. The guys found a book made of skin and a crazy-looking dagger in the cellar. So, what the hell, guys? We've got these ominous tapes from the cellar. Let's go ahead and play those on this ancient tape recorder. Cheryl's already had a little run-in with the demons, so when the tapes are being played, she's not that happy, and her displeasure actually breaks a window. No one really thinks much about it except for Scotty thinks she's acting like a 3-year-old. So she goes to lay down. Ash and Linda decide to have a little bit of romantic time, but not before Linda goes to check on Cheryl because, well, she's sweet. When she comes back, Slick Ash has grabbed a box and has it in his hand and is pretending like he's asleep. Of course, she can't resist and has to sneak a peek. And he fools her and wakes up, but gives her the most beautiful necklace anyone has ever seen.
This is the fucking ugliest necklace I've ever seen.
The kids are innocently playing cards, and Cheryl shows us that she could be a card counter in Vegas. Now, she has a little bit of a meltdown, and, well, Ash and Linda are the only ones who care about her. But here's what Linda gets for caring. And wearing clogs without socks.
Can't keep a good woman down.
So things aren't looking very good for the girls of The Evil Dead. Cheryl's in the cellar taunting everyone. Shelley's turned and been impaled on the Kandarian dagger. And now we have Linda, laying peacefully in her bed. Ash goes to check on her after that nasty pencil stab, looks at her foot and notices a really nasty infection spidering out. So, she has lead poisoning? Deadite poisoning? Leadite poisoning? So Linda comes into the living room with white eyes and really bad makeup.
Fuck you, my makeup is great.
And she just decides to torment Ash. Now, he tries to bitch slap her to make her shut up, or back down, she doesn't. But eventually she does turn back into normal Linda, but that's pretty short-lived. And it ends up in a big showdown with him dragging her ass outside to dismember her. He takes her to the tool shed. And you know what? He can't do it. So he decides to bury her.
Whoops!
She stays underground for about 12 seconds before she pops up and attacks him, and he has to use the spade that he used to bury her to decapitate her.
Ouch! That hurts!
Ash is left by himself in the cabin. He's going a little crazy, and he looks outside to see Linda dancing, totally nude and semi-headless.
Do you like my dancing?
She, of course, comes to the door and attacks him. He thwarts her and decides to sit in a chair and go a little crazier. This doesn't work out well for him because her head falls in his lap, and not in a good way. She has very sharp teeth which come in handy as she latches onto his hand, and he repeatedly and rather comically tries to beat her head against every object to get her to stop. Chainsaw's gone. But hey, what do you know? Linda's body delivers the chainsaw to the tool shed for Ash, and he manages to get it back and eviscerate her body. He uses the chainsaw then to cut Linda's head, which is in the vise, and she pretty much nags to the very end.
And who are you calling a nag?
In 2015, Ash accidentally read from the Necronomicon and resurrected the demons, so he had to go back to the source where it all came from, which is the cabin. And he ends up in the tool shed and sees Linda's skull with the chainsaw cut in it. Well, now being a Deadite, Linda's going to come back and torment him some more. So she bitches at him before he finally destroys her again. Okay, Ash vs. Evil Dead was canceled after 4 seasons, which is tragic, but this can't be the last we see of Ash. And if we see Ash again, we'll definitely see Linda, because what's really funny is that Linda is the second most consistent thing about the Evil Dead franchise, aside from Ash. She's in most of the installments. And she's always there with Ash, the monkey on his back, the girlfriend that he let die and killed over and over. So, for that, you are a not quite final girl that is not quite dead, but not quite alive, and for that, I adore you, Linda.
I'm alive, bitches.
Okay, just documenting for posterity. I'm sure some of this will end up in the B-reel. Yes, I'm listening to the Grease soundtrack, and yes, I am putting glue on my eyebrows. So this is a trick that I learned from my daughter, who does a lot of cosplay. Usually you would use glue stick. I don't have any, but apparently as long as it's washable, it's okay. So if I don't have any eyebrows tomorrow, that would be why. But you put the glue on, you let it dry, and then you put your concealer, your foundation, everything over it, and then you can do whatever you want with your eyebrows. So mine are pretty dark, and Demon Linda has blue eyebrows for some odd reason. Not sure why that choice was made.
You're the one that I want.
Now, I've always thought of Linda from part 1. I always thought that like her face looked like basically like she was a toddler, like she got a hold of toddler makeup. This glue is still not dry. Like she got a hold of toddler makeup and just put it on really badly. So that's what I'm going for here. It was like the kind of lipstick you can't open at the store, so you can't really see what it is. So we're just gonna hope it's really, really, really red. Oh, I'd say that's pretty freaking red. Me, why don't I get a date on Friday night? Maybe because this is what I do on a Friday night. Hey, this has got to be pretty sexy for somebody out there. Someone. I just want everybody to know that I have really bad vision. I have like a 4.75 astigmatism. If you don't know what that is, it means I'm totally blind. So when I take my contacts out, I can't see anything. And now these motherfuckers, I really can't see anything. So I hope I'm recording. Turn into a square. It's a square. Okay. So I know a couple of them, but
I'm alive, bitches.
what?
I'm alive, bitches.
I'm alive, bitches. Oh wait, hold on. And then I know one. It's like,
A magnifying glass? Do you think I'm Inspector Gadget?
Fuck you, my... I can't read
just try the best you can.
is great. Something great.
Oh yeah.
Fuck you, my makeup is great.
I think that's it.
And there should be some more, I think.
Like any on the back or...
No.
Um,
I hope I'm in frame and everything because I can't see anything.